live.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. Let me make sure that tweet I had scheduled went out on schedule. Going to Twitter. Nothing yet. There it is. All right. Cool. Hey, howdy, hey, everybody in the chat. Thanks for coming to another episode of the Attractions Podcast. Let's see.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I'm stupid.
That was pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to check and see how many people we have in here. Looks like 9 people watching. Hey, what's up? The chat on YouTube is faster than the chat in StreamYard. So, hi everybody. I see your comments. They just haven't loaded for us yet. Oh, whoa. They just all came in at once. Hey, everybody.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. What's up, Michael? Thanks for coming.
What's up? I got a what's up.
What's up, Josh, with a thumbs up emoji. Hey, Rodney. Thanks for coming. I wish you guys could have seen all your comments load in. I was like, oh, I can see them in one page, but not in the other. And then just bam, they just all popped up. Josh episode
2, baby.
Yes, we're gonna talk your ear off on this one. I think I'm excited.
Right. Josh episode 2, Attack of the Josh.
Did you see that thing? It was like a TikTok going around where people changed the titles around of Star Wars movies.
Yeah, they all have the wrong title. Yeah.
Yeah. It
That's
kind of
pretty
like
funny.
made my brain hurt because I was like, I mean, this is wrong. Like my brain says no, but it makes sense.
I want to show that to George Lucas and just watch him be like, I know, that's not right. He'd be so unamused.
Honestly, yeah. Whoa, Banks is here. Hello.
Whoa, hey, Banks.
Long time no see. Question, would you ever be allowed to guest on here? It's okay if you're not. I just miss you.
Yeah, can we interview the PR content manager of Legoland that just happens to be Banks Lee?
Hope everyone is safe and healthy. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We tried to actually get out of the house today, and then we got like the outer bands of the hurricane just hit us like a ton of bricks today. Rained like crazy.
Yeah, we got Florida. I thought I moved away from that.
Yeah, we did. And what was funny was it started to rain, and I checked my weather app on my phone, and it said 0% chance of participation for the next 3 hours. And it was like pouring. Yeah. You couldn't see anything.
Everyone was driving very slow, and I was not, because I'm used to it as a native Floridian. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Well,
Banks, the legend, Banks Lee. I could never replace you, Banks.
What is? All right. Well, I suppose we can get started. I'm already recording for color. So if you're ready, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Josh episode 2.
In 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Attractions Podcast. I'm Brittany.
I'm Josh.
And we are here to bring you the latest news in all things theme parks, video games, pop culture, movies, music, and what's going on in our lives in general. So, Joshua, what's been going on?
Hey, a whole lot of nothing.
Yep.
You know, like most people. Well, even less than most people, I guess, if you're in Orlando. There's a good amount of stuff going on there. We're here in Austin, Texas. Not a lot going on. We're playing a lot of video games.
Yes. I literally finished one before like an hour ago.
We have both finished lots of video games in the past month.
Yeah, when you're sitting at home. When you're sitting at home and you can't go out and do anything, and both of us are trying to stay on the safe side, so we're not really going out unless we have to. There's not a whole lot you can do, and you get stir crazy and bored really fast.
Yes.
Yeah, but there have been so many good games that have come out this year and games that we've been trying to catch up on. So we've just been playing, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, now's the time.
And we're going to talk about one that we both just finished. It's the first time we've ever played a game at the same time and avoided spoilers between each other in the same house with only one console. And I can't tell you how hard that is. It's really hard.
Very hard.
But other than that, yeah, we're just doing a whole bunch of nothing, hanging out with our dog.
Yep, that's the best part. That's what we're doing, is taking care of a new puppy, mostly.
Yeah. He gets to go on walks this next week. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yeah, we get to
will actually walk.
Yeah, he likes to eat the leash.
Yeah.
You can hear him back there.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But let's get to the news. We have a little less news than last week, and by a little less, I mean a lot less, but still some big stuff happening. First things first, with last week's cancellation of Halloween Horror Nights, some new local haunts are kind of taking up the banner and bringing some spooky fun to the Orlando area. One of the most interesting being the Haunted Road, which is a drive-through haunt.
Interesting.
All right, so it's called The Haunted Road, and it's from the folks that did Drip, the immersive, I think it was vampire-themed bar a couple years ago, and it's going to be themed to Rapunzel, but it's like a twisted, dark, malicious retelling of that fairy tale, and guests will be in their vehicles, and they will drive through the haunt, and performers will like interact with the vehicle. I don't know if they're going to have like a radio station that you patch into so you can hear everything or what, but it sounds really cool. And they're also doing a family friendly thing so you can experience it without the intense scares. Yeah.
That's cool. The premise of it reminds me of Scary Tales, an old Halloween Horror Nights house that happened a couple times. I think it happened twice, which I would love to see them do again. And I don't believe Rapunzel was a part of it, actually. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds awesome. But
I wish we could do this.
Here are a few things that make me nervous. Driving and being scared.
Yeah.
What if someone floors it? Like SpongeBob Big Toe on the gas pedal just floors it when they get scared. Like, what? Are they going to have someone with nerves of steel driving the cars, or what? Like, I really want to know what precautions are in place for this kind of thing.
Yeah, and we can only assume that it'll be like, it won't be a jump scare centric drive-through. Like, I'm sure they're keeping that in mind. You know, I'm sure you're driving through scenes just kind of happening, and it's not like there's no triggers or strobes. I'm sure there's a lot of things they had to consider, and I wonder even if they've tested it with their own employees or whatever, kind of been like, hey, drive through and let us know what is too much.
Yeah,
for really me, yeah. Well, it could just be like graphic, maybe. So that's the nighttime version. It's got spooky lighting, spooky music, and some kind of graphic stuff going on. But maybe no one jumps out. I think you'd be okay with that.
Just as long as people don't like come up out of the shadows and start like banging on the windows or anything.
I don't think they'll touch your car.
Yeah, there's probably some liability issues in there somewhere. But if you want to do it, they're going to host virtual auditions for locals August 13th through 16th. And we have a link to their Google Docs where you can sign up for that on our website, attractionsmagazine.com. And admission to this experience will be $15 per person. So it's not per vehicle like a lot of these drive-through things are. It's per person in the vehicle. So keep that in mind if you plan to go. And I hope someone does go because I want to know what it's like. I want to know if it's any good.
Yeah, I'm super interested in this. I love all haunts. Brittany does not.
I like the aesthetics of the haunt. I don't like getting scared.
Yeah, well, we each have a thing. Like you like roller coasters, and I do not. I love haunts, and you do not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I went on trips all the way to California just to go to haunts and Halloween Horror Nights and Knott's Scary Farm and all that stuff. So this would be awesome. If it was a little safer to travel, I would probably consider checking this out because it sounds very unique.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll do anything like that around here. Next up, I know you're super excited about this. Piraten in Batavia has reopened at Europa Park after 24 months of construction because the original ride burned down in a fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very sad, very tragic. The whole Scandinavian area of Europa Park burned down. That day was really hard. I've never even been to the park, but watching that unfold was rough, especially considering that attraction burning down, a whole attraction, a Pirates of the Caribbean caliber attraction that was 35 something years old. But man, it is really a blessing, and literally the definition of a blessing in disguise, because this new version is incredible. They basically kept the entire layout the same, and they kept the restaurant and things like that. You kind of ride through like Blue Bayou, but they enhanced the story, everything, the lighting, the animatronics, the scenery. They actually got Garner Holt, the American audio animatronics manufacturer that did the Knott's Berry Farm refurbishment of Calico Mine Train. They replaced all the animatronics in there, and mostly, if animatronics are not Disney, it's probably Garner Holt. So they helped them, which was really cool, and I was excited to see that. It's a super animatronic heavy attraction, and they did this thing now where it used to just be in German. This is a Germany park, Europa Park, but now the characters will say the line in German and then say the line in English.
And that I was super surprised by, because I feel like we're always talking about wanting to go to international parks, but the language barrier is something we're going to have to confront at practically all of them. So this is such a cool thing that they're offering, because if or when we get to go to Europa Park, we're going to understand the ride.
Yeah, and the story now is such an important part of this new attraction. It's vital, I think, to understand the story. So it's really exciting.
And if you guys haven't seen this ride, it's about 8 minutes long. It's incredible. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean caliber of attraction. It is so good. They took such care into remodeling this. Even the boats, the ride vehicles are gorgeous. Yeah. They're so nice looking. There's projection mapping inside. The animatronics look great. I mean, it's no A1000 that Disney has or anything, but it's incredible. And it's done in-house. Like the Europa Park is family owned, and their manufacturing company that makes their rides did this, which is cool, because most of the time we hear about how Disney and Universal sign stuff out to third parties and contract small workshops and stuff to make their rides for them. So this is really cool. I like it a lot.
It's amazing. If you don't know anything about Europa Park, definitely look it up. Expand your horizons on theme parks. There's lots of stuff, not only in, I know some people are familiar with Six Flags, Knott's Berry Farm, and Cedar Park things here in America, but if you look all the way out to Europe and Asia, there are some amazing theme parks out there. And Mack Rides, which is the manufacturing company that owns Europa Park, they actually make Disney attractions sometimes.
Really?
They did Slinky Dog Dash. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Goofy Sky School. Probably some other things. I'm sure. I think Carson's in here. I think he knows. But if you're into the roller coaster, if you're into the roller coaster manufacturing and sometimes dark rides and things, Journey to Atlantis, they also made. Definitely check out Mack Rides and all the cool stuff they've done.
Rest in peace to the good Journey to Atlantis.
Yes, they made that great
Yeah.
journey to Atlantis.
I rode it once. I have vague memories of like getting soaked on that ride as like a 6-year-old. But I've never been on it since.
I rode it when I was little. Yeah, probably around 6.
Yeah.
And when we got to the top, when you go outside for a second, there was a ride operator up there, and I looked at them and I was like, I want to get off. And they laughed at me.
I would have laughed at you too.
I would have laughed at me too.
Yeah. And
we have that on ride photo somewhere.
You're still like that now.
I'm still like that now.
I wish you. Yeah, don't ask about Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. It's a bad time.
Not ready.
All right, next up, a cool thing Disneyland Paris is doing in this COVID time where you can't, you're not supposed to be super close to people, keeping socially distant. They're doing selfie spots for characters where you can stand within a safe distance of people. I'm bringing a photo up, folks. I promise I'm not just being ridiculous. Here you go. So you stand within 6 feet of a character performer and take a selfie. Yep. And this is a way for guests at that park to still interact with characters and get to see them. And that's not really something we're seeing over here in the States, at least not at Walt Disney World. Universal has something similar to this. I don't know if they've stopped doing it. But when Universal first reopened, they had characters coming out in masks and standing to where you could take a selfie with them. Sorry, guys. having a puppy is a struggle sometimes. He has a lot to say.
He does. He's a little excited right now. Okay, that's this character selfie thing is very cool. I saw someone that was there recently vlogging, kind of showcase the experience. It's great, and they also are doing the same thing. In addition to this, they're doing what they do at Walt Disney World, and they have characters up on balconies and things. But the addition of this character selfie thing is really cool.
Yeah. I wonder if it will eventually make its way over here. If it's received well and it's safe, Yeah. But it seems like
if it's safer over there, like if the curve is more flattened.
Yeah.
And that's why they're kind of doing it.
Yeah, that could definitely be a factor. But all in all, it's something cool, something to think about in case that comes around to our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Okay, now this next thing is interesting, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. So Universal is basically offering the equivalent of a SeaWorld Fun Card now, in which you, Florida residents only, by the way, asterisk, can buy this ticket, and it's around the equivalent of a single day ticket. You buy this one ticket, and you can get into the park unlimited admission between August 1st and December 24th.
Okay.
And that's it. It's just you pay once, you get in practically for the rest of the year. But there's no discounts, no included parking. It's basically like an AP without the perks of an AP.
Uh-huh. So it's priced around $115, $120.
So here's the price breakdowns. For the 2-park adult, it's $164. For the 2-park child, it's $159. For the 2-park plus Volcano Bay adult is $193, and 2-park plus Volcano Bay for a child is $188. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's not so bad. The parking thing, I think, is really that's not great. Not getting parking.
Yeah, parking is rough at Universal if you don't have an AP or you're not a team member. because going after 6 is just like not possible in these times. No. But it's an interesting move because they're trying to encourage locals to come out with this. And also, while there isn't any parking included or any discounts, there are no blockout dates.
Oh, well, okay. And, so it kind of evens out.
Yeah, and you don't have to use it on consecutive days. So you could buy it for August 1st and not go back until September 10th, and you'd be fine. And you would only pay for that, theoretically, that August 1st trip, but then your September 10th trip would be free.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good deal. I always love these kinds of deals. Yeah, Seaworld Parks and Entertainment often runs these things. We would do it with Busch Gardens. I'm from Tampa, and we would often do this. We would end up eventually being like, yeah, sure, let's go to Busch Gardens, and they'd say, hey, might as well, buy that ticket. I'm sure there's a lot of people that maybe if you don't live in Orlando, this is probably a better deal. If you live in Orlando, you might as well just get the annual pass with the discounts and the parking and such. But if you live in Lakeland or Tampa or somewhere, yeah, you might as well get this cool, fun pass. It's not that much more than a one park ticket or 1 day 2 park ticket. So.
And if you go with someone who has an AP, use their AP to get free parking.
Yeah, or go with a group, and split it amongst the car.
Yeah. It's just an interesting thing. I can't see Disney offering something like this. But it's cool to see Universal kind of taking the plunge and understanding that things are weird and different right now. So the theme park experience has to kind of change a little bit, including admission to those experiences.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if we'll see the return of some older Florida resident Disney passes. Like, I'm sure if anybody remembers getting some of those sweet deals back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Well, that's, as far as I'm aware, late 90s, early 2000s. I'm sure even before that, there was even better Florida resident deals. But the stuff that I remember as a kid and even growing up being a teenager, there was some good stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely not around anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like they did do something similar, like a buy 1 day, play all year type thing at some point, but
I'm probably
at this point.
Yeah. I definitely not within my recent memory. Maybe like when my family was paying for us to go to Disney when I was like but definitely not in my adulthood.
No, it's been like 2 decades.
Next up, the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store opened.
There she is.
Surprise, there she is. So as you know, Halloween Horror Nights has been canceled, but to kind of ease the wound, to ease the suffering a little bit, they opened up the tribute store, and it looks pretty darn cool. I'm not going to lie. The kinetic energy, especially in this room, the Frankenstein's lab room, is awesome. I really love that. It makes it feel alive and just like mobile and cool. I wish that the body in the center of the room did something. But that's probably asking a little too much, but the projection mapping is cool. In this room in particular, you can find Universal Monsters merch, which is pretty neat, and it kind of feeds into the rumored list of houses that we would have gotten this year had it not been canceled. But all in all, it's pretty awesome. I like it a lot. And as far as I know, they're being super safe about how many people get let into this area at one time. I know that the first day it opened, there was a socially distant line out the door.
Yes, I remember seeing that, yeah.
Yeah, we saw tons of pictures. But yeah, the merch is cool. And then once you get into the second room, it's all about Jack. Everything is about Jack the Clown and his sinister carnival. And it's also kind of paying homage to the icons of yesteryear, the 30 years, 30 fears type deal. It also reuses a bunch of props from past years. And this poster right here, I wanted to call attention to, because normally for the tribute store, it's 3 rooms. This year, only 2 are open right now. this poster implies that we are going to get a third room eventually.
Yes. I don't remember if this was ever spoken about in an official capacity. I swear they tweeted about it, or maybe a team member said something. But yeah, I do believe that someone at Universal somewhere said that the third room will open. I feel like it might have been someone that worked at the store. I guess grain of salt, but yeah.
I mean, this poster says a secret room is coming, like
Right.
straight up. Yeah. I just want to know what it is, because my brain, thinking about this whole situation, it says that it was probably themed to an IP, and then the event got canceled. And then they had to be like, oh, heck, we have to retheme this whole thing because we're not doing this anymore. So then they had to change it, and that's why it didn't open on time. This is pure speculation, by the way. So nothing is confirmed. Obviously, this is just what I wonder had happened. So now I want to know, based on the rumors, what this third room might be.
Yeah, it could be any of those rumored things. I mean, I think you're not, reaching too far out assuming that it was an IP, because in the past years, since they've been doing this tribute store, yeah, they've gone more and more IP focused. That we've seen last year and the year before. They had a whole Stranger Things room and so much Ghostbusters focused stuff. So it would make a lot of sense, yeah, for it to be IP based. But yeah, we'll see what it ends up being is what I'm almost more interested in, because if it was an IP, they're just going to take it away and we're never going to see it. But
yeah,
what will they change it to? Will they change? I mean, yeah, I guess they have to.
Yeah. I mean, we both heard that it was going to be Billie Eilish themed.
Yeah,
but I don't know
Eilish,
if that's still the case anymore.
Or even Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. And they think this banner right here, if you pause them.
Oh, yeah, let me go back to that.
Up at the top, it looks like, I've seen tons of people on Twitter talk about this. I don't know if anyone has seen this, but yeah, it looks like there's a little banner up at the top, probably with some words on it, maybe the event tagline that they might reuse for next year, so they don't want to show it. I don't know.
Yeah, and we talked about this last week, but I wanted to get your thoughts again now that we've seen the tribute store and everything. Do you think next year will be HHN 30 or 31?
I don't know. Yeah, it's so crazy, this whole thing. We really won't know.
Yeah.
I guess they have to do, we can only assume that they will recycle some of this stuff and do it next year. They know that fans want this 30th anniversary celebration. They want the icons back and stuff like that. So if they had to have had plans for some kind of icon house or Jack house or something.
Yeah.
I assume they'll at least do that. I don't know what it'll be the 31st year and whatever, but I don't know what the event will be called, how they'll address the anniversary or any of that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, in recent years, they've kind of tried to drop the year tagline part of it to make the event across both Hollywood and Orlando kind of more synergistic. Halloween Horror Nights 2019, 2018, instead of 29, 28, that kind of thing. We haven't really seen the number used in major marketing since 26, I think, with Chance. That was really the last time they did it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, they it helps. I think they honestly do it with the merch. They share IPs, because I'm sure the licensing fees for things like Netflix's Stranger Things is just astronomical.
Yeah.
So it's easy to share that and then share the merch, which is so much easier to get some huge bulk discounts on merchandise if you're ordering, say, 1,000 of a t-shirt for Orlando, or if you're ordering 10,000 t-shirts to split between both coasts. That's so much more economical for them. So Yeah, it makes a lot of sense from a business standpoint. It's very smart. I noticed that, and I was like, "Oh man, that's clever." It for a fan, I guess it's not as great. You don't get that exclusive merch, but yeah.
Yeah. Josh he works at merchandise and e-commerce, in case you didn't know. So he literally knows these things to a
Yeah,
T.
yeah, I do product design and all that stuff.
All that stuff. Amusement
Yeah,
Lab says maybe with the uncertainty for the next few, they'll just revert to the numbers so they can pause. I mean, maybe. Maybe they'll throw us through a loop and give us Halloween and Mardi Gras at the same time or something.
Ooh, yeah.
Spooky Mardi Gras? That would actually be really cool.
I wanted to speak as a Halloween Horror Nights, longtime Halloween Horror Nights fan.
You have the floor.
The tribute store. Well, first of all, when you paused on the poster, you said, "I want to look at this poster." I thought you were going to shout out. Adam.
Oh yes, our friend
that
Adam.
That was my first thought.
Let me pull it back up again.
Skipper Haas on Twitter makes some amazing art. I'm assuming he made this. There's some other stuff in the store that I know he absolutely made, but yeah, he does a great job. If you go check him out on Twitter, I think it's at Skipper_Haas. Is that what it is?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, he makes some great art that he sells on his Etsy. He also does stuff for Universal Creative, and a lot of those posters, especially in the Ushers ticket booth, he designed.
That's awesome.
Very cool. But yeah, as a Halloween Horror Nights fan, seeing this icon stuff coming back, I don't know how I feel about it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to see without the event to back it up. But
that's fair.
It almost feels disingenuous these days when they do icon stuff. I don't know, it's hard to speak to because I feel like it's just this constant desire for old Halloween Horror Nights. The event used to be so different if anyone went to it like 10 years ago or longer. I haven't even been going to it for that long. It's so different. Like, it's so different than, say, 2006 when they brought all the icons back. And I'm assuming it would just be a house, and it's better than nothing, I guess. I don't know. It just feels so weird. And it's so much different than 20. They did a tribute store in 20 in the disaster gift shop. I don't know if that might have been the first tribute store that they did. And they did a celebration of the icons. It was crazy. I think they actually did. They included Lady Luck in that one, I believe. They might have had the big wheel. No mention of Lady Luck this time.
Yeah, she's not in there at all.
No, and they even, in the Twister gift shop tribute store, they even mentioned Bloody Mary, but not as the Bloody Mary name, her like Mary whatever name.
Yeah, because it's copyrighted, isn't it? Or something. Like, they would have to license Bloody Mary to use it.
Yeah, I think a theme park haunt copyrighted Bloody Mary so that they could use it at their haunt. But they still referenced her on like a tombstone in a little schoolhouse setting, and they had the caretaker's hearse and all these things. It was, I don't know, not to compare, I guess, but Horror Nights is just, it's so different these days. So when they come back, it's not bad that it's different, but when they come back to the icon stuff, it's weird. That's weird. I'll be interested in seeing the event and the application of the icons. I don't expect them to be out. I'm assuming that the Jack show will just be a Jack show. Yeah,
because I've heard tales of Horror Nights past where like they would have narratives that weave throughout the entire event, and with Eddie and how like he was supposed to show up and like be at different places each week, and then at the end he would confront Jack and everything. I wish that they would do that kind of stuff, like more interwoven narratives into the event, because then that encourages repeat visits. But I hate scary stuff like that, so I wouldn't go anyway.
But I hate scary stuff, so it doesn't matter.
I can appreciate it from afar. I just don't like being in environments where I can get scared.
Yeah, that's
whatever. Here's another Universal tidbit for you. They have announced temporary closures of attractions. Let's see, starting August 9th, the following attractions will be temporarily closed. A Day in the Park with Barney, which, to my understanding, did not reopen with the park. Fast and Furious Supercharged, Kang and Kodos Twirl and Hurl, Fear Factor Live, which has been closed for forever anyway, Poseidon's Fury, and Storm Force Accelatron. They will all be closed, and team members will be relocated to other roles. No, you weren't.
It's my favorite ride, Storm Force Accelatron.
I thought you were going to say your favorite was Fast and Furious.
Ooh, I don't even want to acknowledge that. Yeah, this is interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if Disney will follow suit, or if they want to kind of keep all their attractions open and keep this whole thing going, make everything seem like it's normal. But I don't know. I could see them doing something like this, like Carousel Progress, or God forbid Country Bears. So I would not want to see that. But
no.
The kind of things that maybe would go seasonal. Yeah.
And we don't have any kind of reopening date for these or reopening timeline for these. So it's for the foreseeable future, I guess. And it's weird to see Fast and Furious on this list because it just opened like a year ago. And it should be considered a marquee attraction, but it's not. And people don't seem to be too mad about it. And if they are mad, it's for the meme of the ride.
Yeah. Well, some people
genuinely like it, and like I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. If you like it, good for you. I don't like it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah, it is. Regardless of your opinion on the attraction, it is interesting to note that it's a new attraction opened 2 years ago.
2? Yeah, I think you're right. I think it might have been 2.
Yeah. And they're already kind of taking it down to, well, actually, it wasn't it the year after it opened or something. It went to it was open for Horror Nights the first year, and then it wasn't open for Horror Nights the next year because people weren't riding it, or I don't know why, but I can only assume.
Because the first Horror Nights was right after it opened, so they kept it open. And then
and I'm assuming that they were like, let's open it up because a bunch of people are going to want to ride it.
And then no one did.
Didn't seem like anyone rode it.
Nope. And now no one's going to ride it. And it's because I wondered at first if it was like they need to cut the actors in the queue, but they're not actors. They're team members. They're not equity. They're not mic'd. So that's not it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? I can only assume that it's because of low attraction.
Well, that and trying to save money in these times. But it's good to know that these team members will have work. They will just be moved elsewhere. So not all bad.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing for news in the queue. It actually started today. We're covering some breaking news on the podcast for once. A new stage offering called the Disney Society Orchestra and Friends made its debut at Disney's Hollywood Studios today.
Yeah.
In Theater of the Stars, where Beauty and the Beast Live on Stage took place.
Yeah.
This new show, it's a 6-piece band. And they perform a handful of songs that represent various IP that are in the park. So like The Muppets, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Star Wars, Toy Story. I think that's it.
Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc. And it's really cute. It's jazzy. It's very minimalist. The characters come out, which is cool. But this has effectively, temporarily or not, we don't know, replaced Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Because
we have no idea how long.
Because of the ongoing equity dispute between Disney and the Actors Equity Association, which TLDR, if you don't know, Actors Equity wants Disney to provide COVID testing for the actors because they're not allowed to wear masks in their shows. And since actors can't really practice physical distancing and still put on their show, Actors Equity wants that security of COVID testing. But Disney is not prepared to offer that. That's not even part of their reopening plan for general cast members at all. So they said no. And because of that, the actors in equity, so like Finding Nemo the musical, Beauty and the Beast live on stage, the Little Mermaid puppet show, Disney Junior, those performers have not returned to the parks yet, and those shows have not been put back on. Despite some of them wanting to come back to work, they can't because of this. And now Disney is trying to kind of fill out the entertainment offerings with it. And they started this by changing the bird show at Animal Kingdom, which was Up, A Great Bird Adventure, and now it's Feathered Friends in Flight. They removed the Up references to it and took out the character performers, which are not equity, but it made the show, I don't know, you could tell something was missing if you left them in. And it had one equity performer, Troop Leader Jones, and they took her out. And now it's animal behavior scientists who come and teach you about the birds. And there's no IP tag to the show whatsoever. And now with this show, it's got a Beauty and the Beast kind of like end tag on it, where the costumed characters and two character performers in the show's costumes come out to the Beauty and the Beast music, but there's no equity performers whatsoever in this show. It's a lot. What are my thoughts? Yeah, what are your thoughts? Because this is a complicated thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a complicated thing. It's unfortunate to see this dispute going on, and if anyone's ever worked at Disney, it's great to have a union. And some people say that it's not worth it, and that they won't actually ever do anything. I hear that a lot, but I think it could be worth it. If something were to happen, it'd be better to have the union behind your back than to not. They can definitely help you out in a lot of situations, and even just saying, hey, I want a union rep will scare somebody to be nicer to you or not punish you as hard or whatever. It's great, but yeah, it seems like they're being too safe in this instance, and the performers are saying that they want to go back, and the logistics of getting COVID tests continuously for these performers seems like probably an absolute nightmare for Disney. So that whole thing is unfortunate, and it's too bad because this show is cool, and I love live music. Period. Live music in theme parks, I feel, is even more rare, especially at Disney, in the actual parks. It's something that you see a lot at regional parks, I grew up with it everywhere at Busch Gardens. There was like 4 shows at Busch Gardens in one day that had full bands. It's crazy, and they're all just local musicians because they can do that. So I'm very happy to see this. It just has a weird cloud over it, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely feels bittersweet.
Yeah. Knowing why it's there sucks, but
yeah,
if you don't think about why it's there, it's nice to go sit in Theater of the Stars that luckily has that awning over it that they added, and just chill, listen to some jazzy music. I'm a huge fan of the jazz music and the trumpet and all that stuff, so it's great.
I think it opened right before we moved, but the music of Pixar Live, which also was housed in Theater of the Stars, was incredible. We loved it. It was a full band, and they just played Pixar music, and it sounded incredible. There were characters kind of shoehorned in there, which was fine, but we were there for the jams, and it was awesome. And I wish that it was more than a 6-piece band. I get money's tight, so that's why they could also be it's possible they could be musicians from on property that are already contracted. So they could have just brought them over for that. I wish that we could have both, the equity people come back and feel safe and work as they want to, but also get cool stuff like this where we get musical performances and live music and live bands in the parks. That would be nice.
Yes, someone mentioned it would have worked as a Streetmosphere show, like that band at Universal that performs in front of the park. And yeah, I would love to see something like this. If you walk in Universal's, usually early in the morning, I think they stop probably before 12. But right in front of the what used to be the Lucille Ball Museum, now it's the Hello Kitty store. There's that little area there in front of that wait time sign, that tip board, and a band performs there. It's really cool, and they're playing, man, Peter Gunn theme, Back to the Future music, all kinds of cool stuff, singing and guitar.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a great way to enter the park, and you have that energy going on, and they're talking to you. You wave at them, and they're like, "Hey!" I love that. That's great. When I would go to work and they would be there, and I'd walk by them. That was the best.
It definitely puts especially because they're usually out there early in the morning, like when the park first opens, and you're like kind of groggy. If you're on a theme park vacation, it's always just go, 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 do everything. And that kind of puts a little bit of pep in your step, wakes you up a little bit. And it's fun and it's nice and unexpected. So that would be cool if that was something that they considered sometime in the future. That would be nice.
I hope so. We'll have to see what sticks around, if they will just get rid of all of this stuff that they've kind of modified, which would be really unfortunate, or if they keep any of it, if they keep the characters. So many people, I think it's just been absolutely unanimous, as far as I've seen, maybe not, that everyone loves the characters being out and visible and interacting with people, as opposed to being in a building, hiding behind a queue and a wait time, or a fast pass that you can't book and all these things.
Yeah.
It's tough and it's hard. And like for me, from a thematic point of view, that I hold to such a high standard, and I want these areas to be alive and inhabited. They're not. They're abandoned, and it's weird. And I think especially for kids too, not just like I love themed entertainment, but for children, I think that makes a huge difference. You go meet them and they love that interaction. But if you were to, now luckily this would happen with the pirate tutorial, which is kind of gone. But if you were to go, like if me as a kid loving pirates go to Caribbean Plaza and just see Jack roaming, that's cool. I'm like, this is real.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the Caribbean. Or you go to Norway and it's just like, okay, here's Norway, it's just empty. But if you were to go there, and they could probably never do this because they get swamped, but just have like just Elsa's just there, like walking around, or Anna's just like running around with Kristoff, and they're just like, hey, I'm like, dude, this is real. They live here.
And the Captain Jack thing specifically, I can speak on, because when I worked at the Pirates League, they had procedure for when it rained, so they couldn't do the pirate tutorial show before they cut it. So if it was really rainy and bad outside, they wouldn't do the show, but instead they would bring Jack and Mac into the Pirates League to interact with the kids. And I wish you guys could see that experience, because the kids, the look on their faces when he comes in, it was just like, oh my God, that's Captain Jack Sparrow. Like, he's real, and he'll interact with the cast, he will interact with the kids, he'll climb on things. And rest in peace, Pirates League. I will be forever sad that they cut you. But it was such a unique, magical experience, and stuff like that, and Pooh Bear frolicking in the hills of Epcot, catching butterflies. That stuff is so
just running around. Cool. It's amazing, yeah.
That video brought me so much joy and happiness, just seeing him like catching butterflies. It was so cute. And seeing Joy like try to do cartwheels or something. She was like doing something very kinetic in Epcot. But that is the kind of thing that I wish we could get. And I know it's probably not logistically possible outside of this situation, but maybe there's a way to figure it out where we can have a happy medium. You can have the queues for the meet and greets, but you can also have these organic, natural character experiences.
Yep. Yeah, and hopefully keep this band at studios. I said this to Brittany earlier. I think we have podcast type discussions all day.
Yeah, we do.
But, seeing things that are a celebration of the park that you're at tickles me. I love it. Ever since I was a kid, I don't want the generic stuff. I want the I'm at Hollywood Studios. Here's like a shirt or a piece of merchandise. It only has the movies represented at the park. If it has anything that's not at the park, I'm like, get off of there. I don't want that. This is special. I want Toy Story and I don't know, Frozen's there, I guess, whatever. Star Wars and Muppets. I'm like, yeah, this is the park. I love this park. So the selection of music is really a celebration of studios. I love it.
Yeah.
Keep it.
The Muppets. It just sounds so good. It sounds right. And Muppets Now just came out. Yep. It's fun. It's cute. Yep. I hope we get more Muppets. I want more Muppet stuff. More Muppets. Yeah, if you've watched Muppets Now, in particular, the Pepe's game show feels like it was made to be in a theme park.
I don't think it's been on yet. I think that's from your screener.
Oh, well, yeah. Oopsie. The embargo's up. Pepe has a game show in Muppets Now, and I highly encourage you guys to watch it, if only to imagine the possibility of getting picked as a volunteer to be in the show at a theme park, because that's something I want to manifest into the universe. I think it would be great.
I think Pepe's tweeted about his game show.
Yeah, you should follow him on Twitter too. He's a great follow. Are you looking?
At Spicy Prawn. No, I just Spicy Prawn. Yeah.
I love him. But that is it for me for News and Q. It was kind of short, but we had a lot to say. Lots to say. And now we're going to have a lot more to say. What?
One additional thing.
Okay.
By request.
Yes.
Not something that either of us are into, so I didn't make the News in the Queue. But I was reminded by Carson that the NBA season has restarted.
Oh, yeah.
At Walt Disney World.
I tweeted about that on attractions. Yes.
Yes, it's up and going. I don't know what to say about that. He wanted me to mention it. It started. Shout out to the Lopez Brothers. They love Disney.
Yeah, they do. I think they've done a couple of videos for Parks Blog. I think one of them might even have his own YouTube channel. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, sure. They're great. A lot of fun. Yeah. I think Robin Lopez just watched all the Great Movie Ride movies in his hotel room in the bubble. And yeah, he was giving his opinions on some of them that he had never seen, which is cool, like Footlight Parade and the old Tarzan, Johnny Weissmuller, things that a lot of people probably haven't seen. It's fun. Good follow on Twitter if you're a Disney fan and a sports fan.
Sports!
Fan, but, yeah.
All right, but this is the thing. This is our main attraction for the week.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima came out 2 weeks ago, and I finished it an hour before we started recording this. Josh finished it like 2 days ago, and we are going to talk about it.
Yes.
Okay. Let me give you a spoiler-free synopsis, folks. All right? Please hold. Oh, heck. Okay. So, the game takes place in 1274 in the island of Tsushima off the coast of Japan, and a Mongolian invasion being led by Khotun Khan, who is not real, made up for the game, is trying to take over Tsushima on his way to the mainland of Japan to invade and conquer it, basically. And you are a samurai. You are Jin Sakai of Clan Sakai, nephew to Lord Shimura, who is the Jito of Tsushima. And you are running into battle to fight the Khotun Khan, and you nearly die. And it's very dramatic. And as things progress, I'm trying to be spoiler free here. as things progress, you eventually get named the ghost. Like, you are a vengeful samurai spirit to get out to get revenge on the Khan. And you get dubbed the Ghost of Tsushima by the people of Tsushima. And you start to shed the traditional honorable dogma of the samurai and adopt the more brutalistic, sneaky, dishonorable ways of the ghost. And oh man, it's so cool. And eventually you are faced with these choices that really call into question what you've been raised to learn as a samurai. And it's so cinematic and beautiful. And I can't tell you anything else because it will get spoiled, which is why I'm going to say spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead. If you care, please leave if you haven't played the game yet and haven't finished it, because I don't want to ruin this for you, because it is an incredible experience. But I'm dying to talk about it. So consider this your spoiler warning. I won't be mad if you leave, but I will be a little sad. Okay.
If I could chime in on a synopsis.
Oh, yeah.
So when this big battle happens on the beach and you almost die, all of your samurai warriors that like you grew up with and trained with and all these things die and everything. The samurai are basically extinct. You're rescued from the beach by a thief. And by being nursed back to health by this thief after your uncle was captured by Khotan Khan, you learn things from her, and that's what kind of influences you and opens up your perspective into seeing that there are alternative ways to do things that are maybe more effective, that initially you kind of frown down upon, but you realize, wow, this could really work in my advantage. And this thief kind of teaches you some things, and then you start adopting these tactics to save your uncle, and then past that ultimately defeat Khotan Khan. But you're just willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, and I think as far as like themes of this game are definitely like a Kylo Ren style let the past die kind of deal. Family, duty, and honor versus personal beliefs, kind of shedding things that you were raised with. Justice and vigilante justice at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game, I don't even know where to begin.
Did you like it?
I loved it. I love open world games. I love narrative games. Those are all my favorite things. I've been playing Assassin's Creed games since Black Flag. Now at this point, I'm playing them reluctantly. And they're not so great these days, and a lot of people realize that, and everyone has said that Ghost of Tsushima is the good Assassin's Creed game that we've been wanting. A lot of people have been telling Ubisoft to make a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed game. They kind of keep saying no, or just skirting the question, but I'm glad that they didn't, and I'm glad that Sucker Punch, who has just made Sly Cooper and then some other franchise that was really well received. So yeah, Infamous. So I'm glad they kind of went out on a limb here and wanted to make this open world game. And it's great. It has so many things that I love that I dislike about other open world games that make it clunky. Ghost of Tsushima is smooth. It's seamless. It's fun to play. It's easy to play. They've pretty much perfected this open world game.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I said this to Brittany after I beat the game, this is peak video games are cinema. This is a movie more than
that's my tagline. Yeah.
Yeah. The game is on it's a PS4 exclusive. This is a Sony game.
Yeah.
Sucker Punch is a Sony studio, so they produce exclusive games for PlayStation.
However, I think between both Josh and I, we could probably convince you to buy a PlayStation if you don't already have one, because the narrative games that they've been cranking out over the past like 3 or 4 years have just been chef's kiss, like top of the line. And this effectively closes out the generation, and it's a heck of a way to go out. It really, really is.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a PlayStation and want to consider getting it, whether it's for Spider-Man or a Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know if that's an entire reason just to get PlayStation, unless you're like really into samurai stuff. There's so many past games. It would be so worth it to get a PS4 now and just buy these old games, whether it's the Uncharted collection, God of War 2018, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man.
Last of Us
There's
1 and
so
2.
many games. Yeah, Last of Us. There's so many games that you should just get and play. We're doing this now because there's a lot of these games we haven't even played.
I literally got God of War 2018 for like $10. So it's a great time to start to fill up that back catalog if you haven't done it yet. Anywhere on PS5? I think PS5 is going to be backwards compatible, so if they don't re-release this game, you can still play it on the PS5.
Yeah, they might. I've been hearing word of like patching out games that are for PS4 that are released this year and making them more compatible with PS5.
I'm pretty sure
the graphics and lighting.
I could be wrong, but I feel like Sony has like a rule for any game released this year. It also has to be compatible with PS5 in order to be released. Could be wrong though.
Cool.
But I just finished it today. I loved it. It feels so deeply influenced, like a love letter to samurai cinema. So if you're a fan of like Akira Kurosawa, Hidden Fortress, Seven Samurai, it feels so genuinely that. Playing it is almost like watching a really good meaty HBO show. As far as like the size of it, it's bigger than a movie, but it's so cinematic and it's gorgeous. And this is the first game I think I've ever used photo mode with and like for fun. Constantly. The game is just so beautiful, and it feels like it just unfolds in front of you like this beautifully wrapped present, and it really calls into question your morals as you kind of step into the shoes of Jin Sakai, and it just feels good. It perfects the experience that I think I've gotten in past games like Red Dead 2, which I thought was like peak open world narrative game. But this is like polished even further beyond that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of comparisons with Red Dead, and I've voiced my opinions about it a lot to Brittany. She loves the game, and Rockstar is my favorite video game developing company, and I'm like just super stupidly loyal to them. And I would do anything for Rockstar. I would die for Rockstar games. But I think I understand what they wanted to do, and they took it so far, they almost took it too far. Like if Red Dead Redemption 2 were modern day, it would be like go to the store to buy groceries, to then go home to cook the food.
Yeah.
It's like Red Dead 2, someone made the comparison directly because these are both period piece games. You both ride a horse in them, and there's so many similarities, especially that Western movies were almost just straight rips of samurai movies. Like to the point where it's not even creative. They just put it in the West and made a cheap spaghetti Western. They said, take the plot of this Akira Kurosawa movie and just make it a Western, which makes the comparison even more interesting. But in Ghost of Tsushima, you're riding your horse. You can just mash R2. You drive by. You ride by on your horse some flowers, some resources, and it's easy. But in Red Dead, you have to get off your horse. You'd have to pick the flowers. They'd show a cutscene of Arthur, like pulling the flowers.
Go check on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to write that down. Sorry, guys. He has this condition called "I need attention or I'm gonna die." Just kidding. He's just he needs attention. What'd you do?
Oh well, he really likes when there's stuff that he can like almost reach. He's in a little playpen. He's like, trying to get it. He's freaking out that he can't get it.
Yeah,
but it's not for him.
I wanted to tell them about specific camera work and editing in the game for its various editing things. There's a wipe early on in the game, and I was playing it, and I was like,
very excited.
Star Wars! And I got so excited because I was like, George Lucas ripped off samurai movies.
Yeah, ultimately, Akira Kurosawa.
I was like, this is a thing, and it was just like a classic like Star Wars wipe from one scene to another, and it just like turned on my movie brain, and it was awesome. It was so cool.
It's great. I think there are games that are cinematic and come off like films, but I've never seen a game so obviously influenced by cinema. Yeah. I've never seen someone so upfront, especially working with the Kurosawa estate on the Kurosawa mode where it's black and white and grainy and even the audio is different. That was huge to me as like a film fan and a video game fan. Like Brittani and I are both so big on both, and we're so big on cinematic games. I loved seeing a game studio be upfront and being like, this is a cinematic video game. Like, here's a cinematic photo mode with cinema bars top and bottom for the widescreen aspect ratio. The photo mode is basically you can even set 2 points and pan. So if you want to do a little video, it's like a tracking shot. It's incredible. So I love that. I hope more games down the line aren't just like coincidentally cinematic, that they're intentionally cinematic. That was huge.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to add to this. What was that? Oh. Huh. He liked the game. So.
Oh. He actually does like it. He likes to watch TV and watch us play the games a lot. Dimitri, you're on Act 2. We're going to talk spoilers. I don't want to ruin the game for you. So, ye be warned.
Yes, Act 2 is a lot. The ending of Act 2 explodes. I told Brittani, she was sitting next to me on the couch, not looking.
I was playing on my Switch with my headphones and cranked super loud so I wouldn't hear anything.
Yeah, so she was looking at me here like, oh, this is our couch right here. I'm laying here and she's not facing the TV, so she can see my reactions to things. And I was crying, and I told her after I finished, I saved, I put it down. She took her headphones out. I said, I feel completely different about this game after Act 2. That's where everything is so passive up until then, and it's kind of like the beginning of the game establishes itself in this prologue with this fight on Komoda Beach. And then it's just like, okay, well, they captured your uncle, go get him. You can ride on that for a while. But then when you hit that Act 2 finale, wow, everything from then on. I didn't play a single side quest after that because I was just like, it was like binging a TV show. I didn't want to stop. It's really what it is. Like anyone that is a fan of a good Netflix period piece or HBO period piece, whatever, that kind of caliber of series should absolutely play this game. Just like set it to easy if you're not a video game player and play it. And it's super user friendly, man.
Yeah, I will say the combat in this game in particular felt as fun as the combat in God of War 2018, which I think is my favorite combat mechanic of any game ever. That being able in God of War to throw the axe and then throw some punches and then call it back to you, and getting to switch between the various stances in Ghost of Tsushima using right trigger and then just fighting with square and triangle depending on your enemy is so fluid and seamless. It's like after a certain point, it's like you just do it automatically. You don't even think about it. Like, oh, this person has a spear. I need to use wind stance, but this person has swords. I'm going to use water stance. And you switch between them, and your character, like the camera slow-mos and kind of stalls time so you can switch. And it's so easy to learn. There's practically no learning curve to it. It's so easy to get into, and it's fun on top of that, which is so important. Games should be fun.
Yeah, the game should be fun. A lot of games aren't fun. But I was super impressed with the accessibility options in the game. If anyone is a little apprehensive about playing a video game, but they go, oh, this game seems really good, and I'm super into the samurai thing, or I love samurai cinema, but I'm not a big video game player. You can do like anything to make this game playable for you. Like you can have the aim assist, you can have the projectile warning, so it tells you where people are shooting from, which I turned on because that was super annoying. People would be shooting arrows. This little thing pops up that tells you, like, that guy over there is about to shoot an arrow at you. There's tons of stuff you can do. I immediately went in and was playing around with the options and tried a few of them out. It's really cool. It's like they make games these days, and a lot of people have been doing this, so much more accessible for non-video game players. To where it's like, I could tell my uncle would love this game, but I don't think he doesn't play video games. I don't know, he played like Pong maybe, or I don't know, some Nintendo, like NES he probably played.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine. But I would tell him to play this game. I'd be like, here's a PS4, play it, and I would just turn on all the aim assist and everything. I think he would have a great time. He's super into that samurai stuff.
I think a major misconception about gaming in our current era is that it's a waste of time. It's mindless entertainment. It's not. It's actually, I would argue, more interactive and useful to a person than sitting and watching a movie or a TV show for an hour or 2 hours. Because with television and film, you are passively engaged to the thing. You are sitting and watching it, and it happens in front of you. Whereas when you're playing an interactive narrative, which is what I would call this game, you are a participant in the actions that are happening, and they are happening to you instead of just at you. And there's so much work that goes into these games. Beautiful scores, actual camera work. If you ever want to see what that's like, watch the God of War making of documentary. It's on YouTube, where they show you actual panels of where they have cameras set up to shoot shots of cutscenes in this game. It's incredible. It's like filming a movie. And then they have motion capture with actors where they actually perform the events of the game, and their movements and performances are captured and rendered to be put into the game. And it's real. It's acting, it's performance. And it's like getting a really meaty movie or a book and just experiencing it in a way, experiencing this story in a way that you really can't with any other medium.
I feel like you had this breakdown of
I did.
The different points, and we're just off the rails. They've all just mushed into one big topic.
Yeah, I had this whole breakdown. I was like, we're going to be so organized. We're going to talk the synopsis overview, our thoughts, the narrative, the gameplay. I'm trying to hit each thing as we talk about it naturally, because I think that's more fun.
Yeah, we're hitting them all and all together.
Yeah.
One of our favorite things in general with video games and film, something that I've always been a huge fan of, and something that Carson said, you're one of the only people I know that just regularly listens to film score. And me and my friend Andrew have this shared playlist of film score music that we just listen to as if it's top 10 radio hits. Brittany and I are both super passionate about music, score in media, and especially our favorite thing, video games. This game, the score is incredible. Mm-hmm. It's an absolute treat. it's something that's so important to me. It uses traditional Japanese instruments. There's the shamisen, which is super. It's featured very heavily on the soundtrack. I was so excited. I had to tell Brittany about the shamisen, show her what it was. It's like a 3-string guitar, this huge fretboard with no frets, so similar to a violin. And you hit it with this big spatula. You hit the strings down at the bottom. It's a really cool instrument with a super unique sound, and stuff like this featuring these instruments, something that Ludwig Göransson does and something that Bear McCreary does. They put these authentic instruments in these period pieces. It makes it. Mm-hmm. It makes that sound so unique. And something like Black Sails with Bear McCreary, he put the hurdy-gurdy in it because it's just this weird sound that you're totally not used to, and it fits. You're like, this instrument sounds like pirates, or in even Titanic, something super mainstream, and putting that Irish uilleann pipe, bagpipe in there. That sound is, when I hear that bagpipe sound, I'm like, this is Titanic, for a ship that was built in, I think, Belfast, Ireland. That's so important to the sound. So doing that as opposed to just putting in just a symphonic orchestra with violins and a string section, brass section, etc. It's so much more important to do that. And what's so cool is when you go into, because it's a video game, Brody, hey, I'm talking about music. Yeah. You should see him. He looks real cute. He's being bad.
He's being really bad right now.
Uh-huh. But he looks cute. I don't know what to do with him. Give him a call?
Yeah, I guess give him a call or something. Give him something.
He's just standing there bluffing because he wants me to play. You want to play? I'm busy, sir.
Guys, having a puppy. I know he just needs attention. He likes to play, and it's almost always when we're doing something. He's like, no, drop everything and pay attention to me right now. Let's see. I'm going to look in the chat. Let's see. Hopefully, games are pricey. Yeah, for sure. This one was $60. It's full price. Though lately, I've been seeing like the remakes and stuff, like Destroy All Humans. That came out on Tuesday of last week, and it's not full price, but it's like a fully remade game, which is cool. So I think by the time that PS5 comes out, unless it continues to sell really, really well, you could probably see it drop down to like the $50, $40 range. And Best Buy, you get $5 coupons after a certain amount of spending money. So that might be an option for you too. Figment, yes, I'm right there with you. I am a big Switch person. Literally, I need to have my debit card taken away from me because I buy too much Switch stuff. And I actually had a dream the other night that I was playing Ghost of Tsushima on my Switch. So maybe that'll come true. It's definitely possible because the Switch runs Unreal Engine 4 and they have 32 gigabyte cartridges, which is, I think, what they put The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt on. And that thing, I mean, it does look super great and perfect, but it runs really well and it's functional and playable. So it's possible. Whether or not they'll do it because it is a Sony studio and a Sony exclusive game, it's yet to be seen. But I mean, they put Spyro on the Switch, so
Ghost.
They probably won't, but I can dream.
Anyways, baby is occupied.
Good.
So my music rant.
Yes.
video game music is almost even more exciting than movie score, because movie score is just, what's my hat doing? It's crooked. A scene plays out and the music plays, whatever. Video games, it just changes with the environment, with the action that's happening. There's so much music. Like if you're a fan of just listening to it, like I am when a game comes out, I'm so excited because it's like you get just endless music. And the way it works in Ghost of Tsushima is really cool and always blows my mind how games do this. You start combat, so the combat music starts up. Whenever you are done, the music automatically stops. This isn't a unique thing. All video games do this, but I just think it's so cool. It just, you're playing and the combat music starts, you kill everybody, and then it ends with this little shamisen bit that Brittany and I love.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And one of my favorite things that I've noticed is that the music is different in different situations. So if you're in a bigger battle, this choir comes in that's Mongolian reminiscent. And when you go towards Mongolian camps, you actually start to hear this Mongolian throat singing drone, even when you're just near the camp. So I was sneaking up to a camp earlier, and as soon as I got close, I started to hear Mongolian music. It was so cool. I had not noticed that. And it's that famous, that throat singing. That's amazing. I love that. I mean, it is something that's common in video games, I guess, but not all games do that. Assassin's Creed, I guess, does similar things, but changing that culturally for the enemy,
Yeah.
is so cool.
I mean, God of War didn't do exactly the same thing, but they got Icelandic choirs to sing in Old Norse for that score.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I love the God of War score. I listen to it like daily because it is full of bangers. It is always so good. I love to listen to it when I do chores. That's my favorite. God of chores. Should we talk about the ending? I don't. Should we? Sure. Okay. Do you want to give like a brief synopsis leading up to the end of the game? You're better at this than me.
Sure. Yeah. So overall, you start at the beach, the big battle. I'm going all the way back. All the samurai die except you. Your uncle's captured. You free him, but Koten Khan is constantly getting away. Every time you make a move through Act 1, 2, and 3, he's getting away. He moves up north on this island of Tsushima. You move with him. You capture back Castle Shimura, which is your uncle's castle. And you finally think, we're going to get him here. He moves again all the way to a port on the very northern point of Tsushima. He has nowhere else to go but the Japanese mainland. You've accidentally taught him this technique that you used as the ghost to poison his men and greatly reduce his numbers. And what you thought, you were going to get to him immediately afterwards, but he escaped. So he's going to take all of this poison that you taught him about to the Japanese mainland. So this is literally your last chance. The stakes, that's the word I'm looking for, are super high at this point. Your uncle has cast you out, literally put a bounty on your head. The shogunate has put a bounty on your head.
Declared
Everyone
you a
wants you dead.
Yep.
Yeah. But you have this small band of people that support the ghost and support you doing anything possible for them, for the peasants, for the whole island. And you tell your uncle, we're going to do this. This is our last stand against Koten Khan. It's literally our last chance. join us if you wish or not. And I was so excited for this because I knew he was going to join him. But it's one of those like movie moments, you know, where this last small little band of misfits goes to fight against them. They gather up. They literally get a drunk sake maker to get them these Mongolian weapons and everything. It's perfect. It's exactly the kind of movie that I love.
It's
then,
like
the last minute you hear the yeah. It's like a Marvel thing. You hear the horn, and then Uncle shows up. It's amazing. You have this moment, but then everything kind of falls apart when you hear your uncle wants to speak to you, and you realize. I realized this before he said it. I was like, oh no. Everything was fine. You fought on the beach together. You defeated Khotan Khan, of course. You knew that from the beginning. You know, you're going to defeat the big bad. So you think, I don't know, maybe he'll forgive you. He came, he helped, we fought together. But then they had this weird meeting. He told Yuna, right, your thief companion throughout the whole game, that he doesn't like. He said, your uncle wants to meet you at the Red Tree by the lake. And that's where his father's grave is, in the town that he grew up in. Yeah, Jin's father's grave. And I just had this bad feeling. Did you know?
Yeah. I didn't know anything, but I had like this feeling of dread just like sitting on my chest. Like I knew something bad was going to go down. Yeah.
Yeah. I had this bad feeling, and I thought maybe, you know, since he came to your aid, maybe he's going to forgive you, but it just didn't feel that way. His uncle is very stubborn throughout the entire game. And I was so worried that what would happen is exactly what I was worried about happened. And he has this moment where he says, you know, the Shogun has a price on your head, and he's asking me to deliver it. And you have to fight him. And it's hard.
Brutal. Yeah.
You don't want to fight him, because even through all the betrayal and everything, Jin still has this admiration for his uncle. His father died when he was young. He loved his father, but his uncle took him in and raised him as his own, wanted him to be his son, even throughout the game tries to adopt him. You know, Jin denies him this adoption, and because he's so against Jin's ways, and it's such a complicated dynamic, but you understand where Jin's coming from. I mean, it's your family. And I think it's something that a lot of people could probably relate to, having a complicated relationship with their family and maybe not necessarily liking them, or if your family's done bad things, but you go, oh, well, they're still my family, you know? And especially for him, it's his only family. Everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
But he's still going to take your head. He still wants to kill you. They make you fight your uncle, your only family. It's so hard. It's on a list of things I don't want to do.
Yeah. It's right up there for me, because before this I played The Last of Us Part 2, and spoilers for that one makes you fight someone who you have been built up for 2 games to love and see them as a villain, and that is so hard. You like have to fight her with the intent to kill her, and that's like the entire time I was like, I don't want to do this, and that's exactly how I felt fighting Lord Shimura. I didn't want to. I knew where it would lead, and I didn't want that. I didn't want that for Jin or for him. But if you think about it in terms of like the time era that this is set in, if he's hecked if he does and hecked if he doesn't. You know, if Shimura doesn't deliver on this bounty for Jin, he will be shamed by the Shogun and dishonored by the samurai and rejected for the rest of his life, where he will live shamefully and dishonorfully forever.
Well, he'll be dethroned as the Jito of Tsushima. He'll be imprisoned. Yeah.
But if he kills Jin, that's his son. You know, the act is a punishment in itself, and there's no win there. But then you're faced with that conflict as Jin. It's so hard.
You fight him, and you have to make the decision. This isn't a super decision-based game. There's some dialogue where you get to pick this or that. And since you're constantly wrestling with this dynamic of samurai and ghost, of honor and dishonor, they're kind of on the side of those when you're picking your dialogue questions that say, this is something that Jin Sakai, the samurai of Clan Sakai, would say. And this is something the ghost would say. This is something that Jin now, like, I don't care, I will do anything, Jin would say. And I noticed that early on. I was like, this is really interesting. These dialogue choices are pretty one-on-one here with being samurai honorable and being ghost being dishonorable. And the choice in the end is exactly that. I think it's really the only actual choice besides dialogue that you make in the game, is whether you kill your uncle or save your uncle. It's hard. Brittany and I both chose to kill him.
Yes, and I think I can speak for both of us in saying that is the correct decision, because
we believe that's the correct.
We believe that is the correct decision, because when you fight him and you've clearly left him defeated, like he is fatally wounded, and he says, "Give me the honor of a warrior's death," is his final wish, and you can either grant him that or say, F you, no, I'm not killing my family. And we chose the honorable route because you ultimately absolve him from having to kill you, which will destroy him in more ways than one. And you also save him from being dishonored by the shogun, which would effectively end his life in other ways. And it is more honorable to die as a warrior in this culture and time. So it just felt narratively correct to me and to you, because you picked the same thing. But online, it is labeled as the bad ending if you choose that, which makes it even more morally complicated. And the good ending is if you spare him and walk away, because at that point, you're fully embracing the ghost persona and you are abandoning your ways of samurai and the dogma of honor and duty and stuff like that.
Yeah, because killing him, you are doing something that a samurai would do. You are doing a favor, I guess. I mean, that's how the way that people are looking at it. Yeah, you're doing your uncle a favor by giving him an honorable death. By letting him live, you're denying him that, which is basically, I mean, it's similar to the Vikings and their view of Valhalla. And if you don't die in battle, if you don't die in battle, you literally go to Helheim instead of, which is just this horrible icy wasteland where you just are tortured endlessly for the rest of time. But if you die in battle in an honorable way, like the samurai, you go to Valhalla. And the samurai thing, it reminded me a lot of that. It would be like denying someone entrance to Valhalla and not killing them in battle. And yeah, I understand that, but I thought of it because he's so persistent and so stubborn, Lord Shimura, that if you didn't kill him, he would just track down Jin until he dies. Like forever. He would constantly be tracking him down, sending samurai after him, sending the shogun after him. So that's ultimately why I decided to kill him. For Jin, I think it was the right decision.
Yeah.
I feel like Jin, even though he did something maybe nice for him, I know he still cares for his uncle. Yeah.
That was my decision making, besides like just the cultural like definition of honor and dishonor. At the end of the day, this is a father and a son kind of relationship, whether it is direct or not blood related. And to me, there was still love for there. It was complicated love. And this was Jin's final act of love and kindness for his father figure. And that to me is what felt right. I've spent the whole game disobeying him outright and being blatantly just doing whatever the heck I want and not following the teachings of my uncle. And it just felt right to give him this last piece and to not dishonor or disobey him any further than I already had. And that's why I chose what I did.
Yeah. I think that's a great reason to choose to kill him.
And that's horrible that we're talking about it. Like when you say it and then you think about it, it sounds crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely complicated. If you haven't played the game, it's even harder.
Yeah,
I'm sure to understand, but
also cinematically at this point in the game, it's just gorgeous, so beautiful.
Yeah, that final battle that you have with him is amazing. Right in front of your father's grave under that red tree with all the leaves falling. Yeah, that really is, man, the grand finale of it all. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really feels like a movie, like cinematic closure and everything. It's incredible, and it's definitely a great game to go out on for the PlayStation 4. I think it's such a beautiful, tragic experience, and honestly a lot more palatable than The Last of Us Part 2, which is just bleak forever. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. That was rough to watch.
Yeah, I played it. Josh just watched, and then I finished it, and he was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm not doing that.
No way. Oh, it's amazing. And we both loved it. And after you finished it, I missed it. I felt like I had finished a show that I really loved and I wanted more of it, you know? But yeah, it was bleak. The violence in that game is rough.
Yeah, that's not one you can revisit. Like, I'm definitely going to replay Ghost. I played my first playthrough in color and with the English voice acting and subtitles. But I think I will play it again in like a month or two in the Kurosawa mode, which is black and white cinematic aesthetics, Japanese voiceover, and English subs. I think that's what I'll do next. And that it definitely has replay value, whereas The Last of Us Part 2, I can't confidently say I'll pick it up ever again. I would like to one day, but it is so rough. I don't know if I could put myself through that again.
Yeah, it's like a really sad movie that's really good, but
yeah,
it's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is fun. It's also sad and tragic, but fun.
Yeah. But fun, yes. And I think that's a heck of a pitch for you to play it if you have been thinking about it or on the fence about it. It's an incredible story, a great game. It's fun to play. It looks beautiful. I highly recommend it.
Yes.
Yes. And as we're winding down, I would like to give out a few thank yous to our listeners for those who have joined our club and VIP subscription levels. Richard Hanegraaff and Pamela Cranford, who both joined the club level. Thank you so much. Your support means the world to us, and it helps keeps little shows like this going. And I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. Now, if you could, my friend, tell us where all the people can find you on the interwebs.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, please, at Josh Bailey Design. You can follow me on Twitter as well, I guess, if you really want to, at xJoshBaileyX. But follow me on Instagram at Josh Bailey Design. I post my designs on there, and I'm going to have art for sale at some point. So buy my art at some point. But follow me, and then you'll know when I'm selling art.
If you follow him on Twitter, you get to see his photo modes from Ghost of Tsushima, like disembodied feet and stacked heads on spikes. Very funny.
Only the good stuff.
Only the good stuff. Well, you can follow me at Brittany Tuttle. That's BRITTANITUTTLE. Yes, it's spelled funny on Twitter and Instagram, and occasionally at twitch.tv/BritPlays with 3 T's. But also check out attractionsmagazine.com, Attractions on Twitter, Attractions Magazine on Instagram, and youtube.com/attractionsmagazine for all the latest and greatest theme park news and such.
That's right.
All right. So until next time, stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, have fun, and play Ghost of Tsushima. Dang it. Play it. It's good. I promise.
Yes.
It's really good. You will be better for it. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.